Hello, I'm David DeCosmo. Welcome to ECTV Live. I'm joined by my co-host, Rusty Fender. Welcome, Rusty.
Good to see you, Dave.
Rusty, about this time, 1 year ago, the gentleman sitting to my left was in that chair, Tom Leary, who is the president of Luzerne County Community College.
And we toured the facility.
We took a look because Luzerne County Community College was making a major move into downtown Scranton. As a matter of fact, into what was at that time known as the mall at Steamtown. They've changed the name of the mall, the marketplace now, but the college has now been there for 1 year. Well, Tom, you promised you would come back. I thank you so much for doing that, because we want to know how it's been going.
Yeah, you've done a lot with the old Montgomery Ward store, that's for sure.
Yes. And that's the history.
That is the history.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Thank you for inviting me back and having this opportunity to talk about my favorite subject, Luzerne County Community College.
Glad to have you.
We are celebrating our 1 year anniversary at our Scranton Center. And coincidentally, we're celebrating our 50th anniversary that started in 1967 in Wilkes-Barre as Luzerne County Community College.
Oh, my word. Back next to the old Hotel Sterling.
Yes, that's correct.
Wow.
One building.
Yes, I remember it well. I remember it well.
And I always tell the story, I shared this a few times this year as we begin to celebrate the events, that there was a sign in front of that building in Wilkes-Barre, and the sign read, "Temporary location of Luzerne County Community College." And there were two interpretations to that sign. One was, we're going to get a campus, we're going to move to a campus. The other, though, that was kind of the prevailing thought, college isn't going to last.
Not going to work. Yeah, I remember the naysayers. Yes, oh, absolutely.
And let me tell you, in '74, when I graduated Pittston area, right before I graduated, we took a bus tour, Pittston area arranged, of the brand new sprawling campus in Nanticoke of this place called LCCC. So Pittston area was in cahoots at that time to get more people, especially from the non-academic, but the trades area, to LCCC on their brand new campus. That was 1974. It seems like yesterday, Tom.
Yes, it does. And certainly the 1 year has gone fast, but it has been really an exciting year at the marketplace in Steamtown for our college. Last year we served about 400 students, which got us off to a great start, because if you recall, as you just mentioned, you toured the facility when it was still under construction. That was in August, right? So this year we're well ahead of pace in terms of our enrollment coming into the fall. So we're excited about that, and we offer 11 majors, including such programs as medical coding specialists, criminal justice, a variety of business and accounting programs, and obviously a number of other academic pursuits. But the college, in entering the second year, we're getting a lot of interest from both high school students and adult learners, because of one of the, I think, features is our flexible scheduling. And I want to remind everyone, you can walk into the Scranton Center today and register for the fall, and that will continue for the next several weeks. Sometimes there's a misconception that you're too late. You're not too late. In fact, you're right on time.
Oh.
And the opportunity for this year is that our classes will begin on August the 28th for our regular 15-week semester, but we also have a special 7-week session that begins on October 23rd. So students can actually have a very flexible schedule.
Yes.
Particularly if you're working or you have some other obligations, you can arrange a schedule around those two sessions.
That's great. That's a compressed schedule with full benefits.
Full benefits, yes, exactly. And it's as I said, the marketplace, the Steamtown, the people who manage that have been so supportive of our efforts there. And the signage now that we have, I think we're really getting to the point here in the city of Scranton and in Lackawanna County that people are beginning to recognize what a community college can do.
Yeah, there's no temporary written by any of that.
No temporary. We're here for the long run, including in Scranton. We'll be here forever.
Now, I didn't realize you're also celebrating the 50 years, and that is so impressive. And like Rusty, I've seen the development. I remember next to the old Hotel Sterling. I remember the beginning of the campus. As a matter of fact, one of the first presidents of the school, Tom Moran, was a very close friend of mine. Came from the media. He worked in the Sunday Independent newspaper for many years. And of course, what I remember perhaps better than anything else is the fact that when we had an active news media association in the area, we used to meet there. Now, one of the reasons was because Tom invited us as a former newsman. The other reason, which was probably equal, was the fact that you had fairly well-known culinary arts program.
Yes.
And we usually had our meeting around a very, very enjoyable meal.
Yes.
That memory comes back to me.
And on that note, since you mentioned culinary, and I know you're being somewhat facetious, but it's a great program.
Yes, yes.
But now, when you were on the campus at that time, the culinary consisted of basically one kitchen and a dining room.
Yes, yes.
We now have a dedicated facility in downtown Nanticoke, about 23,000 square feet, state-of-the-art equipment for our hotel and restaurant management, our culinary arts, and our pastry arts programs.
Oh, my word.
And it's a very popular program because, as you know, the service industry in northeastern Pennsylvania is one of the most prominent occupational
And there's
opportunities.
a franchise coming to town every other
Yes,
month. It is
yes.
unbelievable.
Where
Yes,
is that
indeed.
building now?
That building is on the corner of Market and Main Street in Nanticoke. About 7 or 8 years ago, around that time goes so fast, so you're 50 years, 1 year, 7, 8 years,
Yeah.
we established a health sciences center which encompasses our nursing program, our dental hygiene, dental assisting, respiratory therapy, and surgical technology on Main Street in a 55,000 square foot facility. And we went right down the street and we built a culinary institute.
One of those is right across the street from the Burger King area,
That's correct, yes.
which used to be at one time I think a Woolworths or a Kresge.
That's correct.
And up above was a radio
Kresge, that's
station
correct.
called WNAK where I
Right.
worked in that building. So, boy, you talk about things changing
Oh, yes.
Right.
over the years. Your success has been such that you really didn't have to expand. You could have just kept everything right on that pristine campus in Nanticoke, but you somehow felt the need to kind of reach out further, didn't
Yeah,
you?
and you were centrally located there.
Well, actually, and that's one of the main reasons I think that Nanticoke was selected as the site, because it is the geographical center of Luzerne County. If you think about from Pittston to Hazleton, Nanticoke's
Yes,
right in
exactly.
the middle. But your point, I think, Dave, is an excellent one. Yeah, we could have sat back and enjoyed the benefits of our growth and our success. But more and more, when I was out in the community and my colleagues were out in the community, there were so many people coming up to us and saying, "When can you come to Lackawanna County?
So
Can
you're
you come to
getting the
city of Scranton?"
invitations.
Yes. Business people, educators, and it really, there's outstanding colleges and universities in this city and,
Oh, yeah,
and
sure.
and in Lackawanna County. But the community college fulfills a certain need that exists that I think other institutions are not necessarily tailored to do. So as a result, by invitation, and then as we began to explore, and we did the research and the studies in terms of the population of the county, the demographics are very similar, although people like to think it's so distinctive, to Luzerne County. So if we were successful there, we felt becoming really what I'm describing as the community college of northeastern Pennsylvania just expands our horizons, but it's really, really focused on meeting the needs, the educational needs, and providing the best opportunity for people to have some social and economic mobility.
It's a great outlook, a great outlook. What are we talking about right now in terms of existing campuses?
Existing campuses, well, as we talked about, the main campus in Nanticoke, which has the 14 buildings and then 2 buildings downtown. We're in the city of Hazleton with a dedicated site. We're in Shamokin in Northumberland
Oh,
County.
my goodness.
We're in Berwick. And we're also in the city of Wilkes-Barre, right in Public Square in Wilkes-Barre. And of course, our new exciting addition in the city of Scranton. Next year, by invitation, again, we will be establishing a site on Main Street in Pittston.
Wow, fantastic.
That's great. And like any other business, like education or even religion, you have to invest money to make money.
Yes. And, proximity, travel, people's work demands, their family, having these centers right in community, near homes and businesses, helps so many people
right.
pursue an education. Otherwise would say, I really don't have
You're right.
the time to do this. But if I
Makes
can,
them say, I can do this, it's close.
Well,
Absolutely.
Now, let me
Yeah.
ask this, because and can you go to any of these particular campuses, pick that specialty that you're interested in, and take everything you need right there?
you can fulfill most of the majors that I mentioned,
Okay.
the 11 majors. Now, I'll tell you what, the other group of students that we have in the city of Scranton and some of our other sites, they're aspiring, for example, I'll use the health sciences profession. They're aspiring to be nurses or dental hygienists.
Okay.
They will get their start here at the Scranton Center. They'll complete maybe all of their core courses, 24, 30 credits after. then they will apply and be accepted into our programs on our main campus.
Okay.
So it's a great starting point for them, but there are, as I mentioned, there are opportunities for you to go through the majors that we have here and complete them here, or if you want to, you can come to the main campus and
That is good, though. The
complete your education.
specialized areas and the electives taken at the main, which offers everything.
Yes.
That is good.
Yes.
Yeah. And one of the things, one of the big sell points of a community college back in the day when you did start was the idea that a community college could set up courses that were unique to an area. That, for instance, if you had a particular industry that was booming in this area, which we had more, but you could gear courses strictly to that industry as opposed to the run-of-the-mill kind of general things that you might find in a lot of their schools.
Absolutely, and I think the flexibility, or being nimble to be able to respond to the needs of the community. I'll give you, I think, a very good example of it in the last few years. Luzerne County Community College, Northampton Area Community College, and Lehigh Carbon combined and collaborated and applied for a federal Department of Labor grant. And we identified specific occupations in each of those areas and established an application that requested the technology and the equipment to support it. And as you know, that's very expensive.
Yes.
And what we outlined in our community was diesel, welding, advanced manufacturing. We have programs now that are full in those areas. The graduate, you reach the point where companies are coming in and they're telling our students in their classes, as soon as you graduate, we want you in a full-time job.
Absolutely.
And they're good, sustaining, paying jobs. They're the type of occupational opportunities that allow you to stay home, raise a family, buy homes, really give back to the community.
Yeah.
So those are the kind, as you mentioned, Dave, responding to the community need.
Yes, yes.
And those programs are projected over the next 10 years to be in high demand.
And as Dave mentioned, with the fracking, I was in the fracking business for several years, and welding, the #1 trade, whether it's arc, MIG, TIG, shielded metal arc, thermite, flux core stick, that's the #1 trade in this area. The welders on our jobs in Susquehanna, Bradford, Tioga, Sullivan, Wyoming counties, the 5 natural gas areas, on the average of $9,000 a week they were earning as welders. $9,000 a week, making more than the president of the company that was in charge of hiring the welders. $9,000 a week. Now that has an ebb and flow as well, but $9,000 a week, that's good coin.
Yes, it is. And it really is understanding that there are a broad number of opportunities available to you. I mean, there was that tradition that was established in higher education. You went to college to become an accountant or a lawyer or a teacher.
That's right.
But there's so many other opportunities that people can pursue.
And you wind up having, which I guess is kind of a challenge to you, you wind up having, I don't know what the word I'm searching for. I guess in a sense, an evolution of occupations. Whereas for 20 years, you don't need welders.
Right.
Because there's plenty.
Yes.
You're right.
But then the welders that have been there all that time, they're beginning to retire, they're beginning to move away. Now new ones have to be trained. Now there's a new demand for that, or there's some other profession that's
bred out of that.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah, and you've got to be ready to adjust to those things. Even your local needs are going to change from 10 years now to 10 years ahead.
Just as an example, when we talk about that ebb and flow, in the plumbing and heating profession, nationally, 80% of the plumbers in this country are on the verge of retirement.
Wow.
So
And
that
that's
means
the #1 trade is HVAC.
Yes.
From Craigslist to local ads, HVAC, the #1 most sought trade.
So 80% though.
and we offer plumbing and heating, and we offer HVAC. So there's that connection between
Yes.
good job, good opportunities at the end of your education. And I think that's what community colleges are committed to, because that I think we do that we have a great deal of experience doing it.
Yeah.
So when we find out about something that is a need in the community, we don't have to run it through a bureaucracy of government or major main campuses. We can sit down, study it, find out if there is a need, and then develop the program.
And let's face it, Tom. We can talk about the quality of education and great parking and an LCCC facility in every town, but there's a great cost differential as well. And that's the bottom line.
There
Yeah,
is.
that's
And,
true.
you know, the way I describe a community college is really, in terms of its, that Rusty mentioned, there's a great academic and financial path to a four-year degree, if you're looking at it, just to transition from the trades and technologies over to the opportunities for people to pursue their bachelor's degree. Our tuition is $254 a credit in Scranton, which translates into approximately $70,600 a year. So you can complete your entire associate degree for less than $15,000. But that would be very good. That would be very good on its own merit. But we've also, particularly over the last several years, we have collaborated with four-year colleges and universities, including, most recently, the University of Scranton and Marywood University, whereby you are guaranteed full transfer of credits, you are guaranteed your major, you are guaranteed a scholarship in your junior and senior year, specifically for those transfer students from Luzerne County Community College. So if you think about that, you can reduce your cost of your education to obtain a bachelor's degree by anywhere from 50 to 75%.
Wow.
And community colleges, 75% of our students receive financial aid. So 3 out of 4 people are receiving a Pell Grant. Just to give you an example, a Pell Grant, a federal grant, actually covers almost the entire tuition of a student who's enrolled at the Scranton Center. So there's ample opportunity for people who are, and the incursion of debt is one of the biggest concerns that families have today.
Oh, sure, that's all you hear about all the time.
This
yeah.
addresses that particular issue
And
for
for
families.
those folks who are a little out of touch, I mean, I taught for 8 years engineering at Wilkes University. $780 a credit there as opposed to $254 at LCCC. It's a pretty good saving, David.
Yeah. And are you able, you indicated earlier, and I agree with you, that, you know, there's not a really great difference between what's happening in Scranton and Wilkes-Barre and Shamokin or Berwick, but there can be an occasion where one of those communities has something unique that comes up. Can you adjust by campus? That is, add a course, should you feel something's needed in a Scranton or in a Berwick that wouldn't necessarily apply to the others?
Absolutely. And that's why our centers are particularly unique from the standpoint that every time we go into a community, whether it's Shamokin or Scranton, we really work at establishing relationships with businesses, with industries. One of the biggest industries in Lackawanna County is in the health sciences area is medical coding and specialists. We offer a medical coding specialist program. The business people are the ones who know what's happening. They have their finger on the pulse in the city and in the county. So we're not going to move in and say this is exactly what we determined. We're going to say to you, what do you think will work?
What do you need?
How many people? Yeah. What do you need? And that's what I think that type of connection between higher education, in this case Luzerne County Community College, and our advisory councils are so important in terms of reacting, as you pointed out, Dave. Can we put a unique course here? Absolutely. If we have 10 students who desire something, we'll start the course. We'll offer the course.
As little as 10 students?
If 10 students say we need a course in this area, we'll find a way to deliver the course.
And you know why? I learned a lot about the business model being at Wilkes and being at Marywood. If you're McDonald's and you want to roll out a new sandwich, you got $40 million in research, and you're going to have to really make that thing pay at your 39,000 worldwide restaurants.
Yes.
You're laying out pocket change. If it doesn't pay off for the 10 students, you know what? Then you don't do it again. You let it rest for a couple of years. Your overall business model investment is so much minuscule over than a Fortune 50 company.
Yes.
That's the good part
Yes.
about being locally.
Yes. And that, Rusty, that's what allows us to be flexible.
Oh.
We can adapt to the changing times and what the needs are.
Were you at all hesitant after opening the Scranton one, or did you kind of see what you wanted immediately?
Hesitant to open it?
No, to make sure it was going to stick around.
Oh,
that it wasn't
absolutely.
going to have that temporary sign.
Anything in life, as you know, anything new, you always have a watchful eye.
It's a mega
Wait, we
gamble
hope this
anymore.
works.
You're right.
I've had people who are in
gamble.
business, they have a great restaurant, but as they remind me, my friends, you don't really know what's going to happen until you open the door.
Better believe it.
You really can't be
Better
sure.
believe it.
And that's why we are so happy about the reaction, the response we have received in the city of Scranton. I mean, it's working very well, and I have every confidence that the Scranton Center and our impact on this region is only going to grow.
Well, your enrollment time is like open right now.
Yes.
Are you starting to see some already for the upcoming
Yes,
semester?
we're actually ahead of last year at this time.
Is that right?
Yes. So with that in mind, as you just mentioned, we are actually looking at our courses right now and deciding, do we need to add another
gee.
section? Because some of our courses roster as many as 30 students. Even though our average class, we're the largest college in northeastern Pennsylvania, we're the largest, but our classes are small. Our average students, anywhere from 18 to 20 students in a class.
Wow, that's
So-
wonderful.
Boy, businesses would pray to have your problems, Tom. Let me tell you. They would pray on their knees to have your problems.
Maybe I'm making my job sound too easy,
boy,
right?
boy.
Maybe it is.
Incredible.
But it's exciting to be here because, as I mentioned, we're receiving a great reaction. But if you take a walk across the street to our center, you'll see there's such a vitality and
Yeah.
Students coming in, new students coming in to register, and it's more about fulfilling their aspirations and allowing them to realize their dreams. I mean, coming to college, that step sometimes is very challenging, very difficult, and people are actually afraid sometimes.
Yeah.
Can I do it?
Yeah.
Do I have the level of confidence?
Absolutely.
That's why I think in line with that, I think that our early college program that allows students while they're in high school to enroll in college courses, we have agreements with, for example, the Scranton School District, where you can register for classes when you're a junior or senior. Sometimes we offer the class in the high school, and sometimes it'll be offered at the main
think-
campus or in the center.
That's great.
You know what that does for individuals who have that apprehension about their pursuing their education?
Dissolves
Totally
it.
eliminated.
I always draw the analogy to a little boy or a girl who's playing Little League Baseball. You're getting somebody's pitching to you for the first time. You're so afraid of the ball, but once you get a hit,
Oh, yeah.
you think, I'm a hitter,
yeah.
right? Well, in education, you're in high school, you complete an English course, a psychology, or some other courses, you feel, I can go to college.
It's daunting. You want to be a
can do
52.
this.
You're already
Yeah.
there.
Yes, I'm here.
I think the cooperation between both high schools and other colleges in the area is really something to tout. Two things I want to go over very quickly in the time we have left. The first is, you had mentioned earlier that it isn't just the people coming from high school going to college, it's adults as well.
Yes.
A lot? How are we talking
And
about
that's
there?
daunting. To get a 51-year-old person to sit in with a bunch of 20-year-olds, that's not easy.
I think it was 3 or 4 years ago, we had a graduate, I believe she was 78 years of age. She graduated with an associate degree. And she was moving to New York to be with her daughter, upstate New York, and she was going on to be a veterinarian. Isn't that remarkable?
That's incredible, huh?
It's an incredible story. I think
6 more years of schooling after that.
That was her
Incredible.
dream. And all her life, she couldn't do it. She said, I'm going to do it. Even if I only last one day, I want to be a vet.
That's amazing.
You know, there's just an opportunity for people to literally change their lives by pursuing their education. It's one of the few opportunities that really allow you to improve your earning power, to be able to go out and buy a home, to do the things that you always dreamed about. And you can do that through a college education.
You had also mentioned earlier, and we were kind of hanging to ask about this because last year we were aware of it, but apparently the plans are starting to fall into place to go into Pittston.
Yes.
And there's so many things happening in Pittston. We talk about it on the show regularly. The community looks alive downtown.
Mike Lombardo mentioned on last week's show about
Yes.
they're very eager to have them
Yeah.
there.
So
I commend the people, the leadership in the city of Pittston and the people in Pittston. That is probably, in my estimation, a model of how we
Agreed.
bring
we
back a
say
city.
that every time.
Agreed.
That city's incredible.
And it's the
Incredible.
result of everyone working together, not at
Yeah.
odds. No one, they left their ego at the door. They
did.
came in and
Yeah.
said, let's
They
just
did.
plan a great city. We're excited about that opportunity because there are, through this renaissance and revitalization they've gone through, next June, they will be turning over a facility on Main Street in Pittston. It's the old M&T Bank.
yes, mhm.
We're going to have 10 classrooms, 2 laboratories in the building. We are working, and here's an example, we are working with the leaders in Pittston, as I speak, to formulate what kind of programs and courses they are interested in. I mean, for example, they are very proud of the inception of their arts and theater.
Yes.
So we want to develop something along those lines. But we want to serve every age group. And if you think about the fact that with many people retiring in our region, retirement does not mean you have to stop your education. I mean, there are a lot of interest that people may have that we may be able to formulate outside of the credit arena. Formulate some, formulate some programs for them, even if along the lines of, I'll just throw this out as an idea. People who like to, a group that wants to go on a trip to Spain or Italy or somewhere, and we could offer courses over a few weeks about the language, about the the dining, all of those things that people could come together and have an enjoyable experience. So
Customizing again, perfect idea.
Yes.
And right before we close, it has been such a success story, not only over 50 years, but over 1 year here in Scranton. Any kind of daydreams about even enlarging in Scranton?
if we get to the point where our enrollment continues to climb, we have the opportunity in the marketplace for expansion. And we had those early conversations with the management of the marketplace. So that would fulfill a dream of mine.
Wow.
If we had to sit down and talk about expansion in Scranton. That would be wonderful.
Well, you're lucky to be in that facility, and they're certainly lucky to have you as well.
Yeah.
I think the synergy is great. The marketplace, the college, it's working very well.
Well, congratulations on
good luck,
a
Tom.
job well done, both overall and specifically here in Scranton. And you'll be back, because we will follow up and see perhaps a year hence where we stand, or maybe when Pittston is ready, we'll invite you back.
I'll be so happy to come back. I
Tom
thank you
Leary.
so much,
Thanks,
Dave.
Tom.
Rusty,
President
thank you,
of
Tom.
Luzerne
Tom.
County Community College, and Rusty Fender,
See you
my
next week,
co-host.
Dave.
Indeed.
Thanks, Mark.
Mark McGlory, our chief cook and bottle washer. I'm David DeCosmo for ECTV Live. Till we see you again next week, here's hoping all your news is good.